Konnichiwa, minasan. It's Gray from Makazashi's Tea House over in Japan. How you doing? Are you good? Are you genki? I'm wrecked. I've been clearing snow for not all day, but half the day, and I tell you what, these old bones can't take it anymore. But enough about me. Let's talk about comics. I have a review of the brand new issue of Action Comics. It's issue number 1051. It's the start of Dawn of DC. Let me read a little bit of that. Here we go. It's called A Year-Long Storytelling Initiative, Dawn of DC. You've got new epic series, new creative teams, and new battles to fight. Forging the future, one hero at a time, so it says. Now, I wanted to jump on this because I've read some of Phillip Kennedy Johnson's work before. His Action Comics was really good, although I only read one issue. There was a great War World story there, and also the recent issue of Aliens. He's doing Aliens with Marvel Comics, and that surprised me by being very good. I've got a review of that on my channel if you want to check it out. So, this has got 3 stories in it. It's got the main Superman story called Speeding Bullets Part 1, which is, as I say, written by Phil Kennedy Johnson. It's got art by, Rafa Sandoval. It's really good. Although sometimes the faces looked a little bit, I don't know, maybe I just need to get used to it, but more of that in the story summary. But yeah, a good solid opening story setting up the superhero family, the super team. I enjoyed it. Now, the second story is John Kent as Young story, which is also good. That one's written by Jurgens, and it's got art by, who is it? Leah Weeks, if I'm right. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Only 10 pages, but it's a nice, again, a nice setup for what's going to come, and it has a mystery in it, which is cool. The third story, all I'll say is I couldn't even finish it. It was like reading somebody's journal or an essay. It didn't sound like characters' voices. It just sounded like they were writing how they speak, the writer. It's by Leah Williams, by the way. And it's my first time to read her work, although I've heard a lot about her. Not a lot of it good. But I could be wrong, as I say, I'm new to the writer. So yeah, let me show you some of the art. Look at this. This is from the main story. Look at Superman and the super family behind him. Now, I'm kind of learning a lot of this as I go because I'm fairly new to the title. And of course, I know the original characters, but I don't know some of the ones like Connor Kent. I don't know much about John Kent. There's the Chinese Superman. Do you remember New Superman? That was part of DC Rebirth. I was reading that back in the day and I enjoyed it. So he's in this as well. I think he's called, is it Kanan Kang? So yeah. It's a recommend. Check it out, see what you think. It's a little bit pricey. It's $4.99, but you do get a lot of pages for that. And 3 stories, but one of them stinks. Sorry, the Power Girl one is just terrible. Okay, now enough from me. Let's get on with the story summary. I'm going to show you some of the art, so please keep watching. Here we go. The issue opens with extracts from an article by Lois Lane. It's called Winds of Change, and all I can hear in my head is the Scorpions. Da 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 da. We're told about the history of Metropolis being divided into 2 time periods. The time before Superman's coming, and the time after. Just imagine if it happened in real life. As Lois Lane writes, the Superman age changed everything. You know, imagine if we had an alien from another world who looked like us but was substantially stronger and more powerful. How would we react? Would we react as darkly as Zack Snyder's Man of Steel? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Here we see what looks like a suicide car bombing attack thwarted by a gust of wind. We see like a red flash in the background. And then we get the title page, Speeding Bullets Part 1. We have reason to hope. Can you see the super family here? Wow. Now I'm pretty new to the title. You know, I don't know that many characters, but I'm just going off what I see here. You've got the main one, you've got Superman. I think that's Connor Kent and John Kent, his 2 sons in the background. Supergirl, of course. It's the new Superman, or the Superman from China. Is it Kanan Kang? I'm not sure who the metal one is. Is it Metallo? And I don't know. And somebody else there. Please let me know in the comments. Like, can you tell me who all these characters are? The crowd here seem delighted by Superman's return. He's back. They're all back. Look. But somebody isn't. We see a dog reacting to somebody and a man reacting back to the dog. But then he appears to disappear. We see this mysterious figure beamed up somewhere. It looks like into a lab. It's certainly not the Enterprise. And then Lex Luthor. Well, Lex Luthor's image is talking to him. It sounds like Lex has his sister and he's going to do a deal for him. I'll do it tomorrow. Next we switch to a great family scene here, the home of the Kents. Now, I might be being a bit picky, but I'm not quite sold on the art. What do you think? Is it just me? Anyway, I guess, is it Connor and Kanan playing video games? Or it could be John. Who's that in the background? Is that John in the background? And then we see the new twins from Warworld. What are their names? Okay, their names are Otho Ra and Ossel Ra. So Otho and Ossel. Not sure which is which. I didn't read the Warworld storyline, which was actually really good. I only read one of those comics by Phillip Kennedy Johnson, you know, the previous Action comic story, which looked really good. So I've missed a lot of that. Here we get a speech by the main man himself, by Superman, who doesn't quite look like Superman, but again, I'm being picky. He's talking about John asking him a question before he left for Warworld. John asked Superman basically why he doesn't do more. Then Superman touches on trusting in humanity. He also mentions alien worlds, cultures, technologies, alternate futures, and then talks about the opening of Steelworks Tower tomorrow. This is followed by a very personal announcement by Clark and Lois. Otho Ra and Ossel Ra, there we go, the youngest of the Warworld Felosians. They've asked to live with the family here, so it sounds like they're adopting them. Is everybody happy with this? Well, you can see by someone's reactions, maybe not. Okay, the last page I want to cover because there's still quite a few pages to go and there's a lot of action coming up, but I don't want to spoil it. Here we see it's at the top of the tower. It's not open yet, but two security guards find someone in there. He turns around. What are you looking at? It looks like he's about to blast him with some kind of green energy. Is it kryptonite? Okay, I'll end my story summary of the main story here. The second story in the comic is a 10-page Dan Jurgens Lee Weeks story starring a younger John Kent, which is going to please a lot of people, and a black suited Superman, looking very cool there. This is basically Lois and Clark taking John back to where they used to live in the country, and they're going to be helping him learn to use his powers. But we get a bit of a mystery in this, involving a fragment of Doomsday's bone. I like the art of this. It's a little bit rougher than the main art, but yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's nice to see a younger John. And then we come to the third story, which is a Power Girl story. Nothing wrong with that, but it's written by Leah Williams, and it's got art by Marguerite Sauvage, or Sauvage. Now, can I just say, I don't think Leah Williams knows how to write a comic book, because just look at the dialogue. I'm going to read a little bit of it, yeah, and just tell me how this sounds. Not only how it sounds, there's so much of it. Throughout this comic, throughout like I think it's only 10 pages, you just see like stacks and stacks of full dialogue balloons with almost like essays, you know, on each page. Here we go. Let me read from the second page. This is just going to blow your mind. It just doesn't sound like, you know, a comic book writer. It doesn't sound like the voices of the characters. It just sounds like somebody writing, you know, the diary. Have a listen. And we've already done enough initial testing with that connection to establish that you're able to enter the astral plane and navigate as if you were corporeal, regardless of whose mind you're entering. I couldn't even read that without taking a breath. That's one sentence. And it carries on. And we know that I'm a licensed counsellor with experience treating addiction and abuse. I have a doctorate in counselling psychology and completed my residency in psychotherapy. All it is tell. It's tell, tell, tell. No show at all, hardly. I mean, the art's pretty nice. It's a distinctive style, but man, I've never read Leah or Leah Williams' stuff before. I've heard a lot about her, not in the best light, shall we say, through, you know, comic book channels that I listen to. But man, I couldn't even finish this story. I was skimming through it. I couldn't get to the end of it. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Terrible. Really poor. Okay, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed my review. Please leave me a comment. As I always said, I'd love to hear from you, and I do reply to pretty much all the comments I get. I know it's rare, right? But hey, I'm still a small channel. So yeah, it was good fun, and I'm hyped for the next issue. We'll see how it goes. So this is Gray from Wakazashi's Tea House, signing off for the night. Mata ne! Wakazashi's Tea House. Please subscribe.